And so with type 1 diabetes, the individual would have a change in their blood sugar, and our dog would be able to alert to a scent that your body releases from a chemical in advance of your blood sugar dropping. So that way, the individual would be able to be alerted to know that their blood sugar was going to drop, eat or drink whatever it is that they might need to, and or get to a place where maybe they can sit down safely. So if their blood sugar does change, they're in a safe position.
Hi, Ashley. Welcome to Keys of the Community.
Hi.
Good to see you again. It's been a while.
Good to see you too. Thanks for having me. It's been too long for
Mhm.
sure.
Yeah, for sure. Yes. So we met when you were at another organization, and those organizations always seem to be nonprofits. Tell me what draws you to nonprofit leadership, and where are you now?
Yeah. Definitely an interesting thing. I am currently at Paws With A Cause as our Chief Advancement Officer, but that isn't really how I thought would see myself in a career. I grew up thinking wanted to be in physical therapy, and I thought the dream job was to be a physical therapist for a major league sports team or something. And then realized that wasn't for me and really had to figure out what I wanted to do. And I learned that in nonprofit, I could take my love of talking to people and hosting events and just really getting to engage with the community and do that as a career in fundraising. And I've had a lifelong career as a fundraiser. I've worked at a handful of organizations, but have really found that it's just the dream job for me. Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. Good for you. So, what uh, does Pause with a Cause, and what is it? What is your mission? Tell us all about the organization.
Yeah. So Paws with a Cause, or we call it Paws for short. We are an organization that trains and places assistance dogs and facility dogs with individuals and communities. So we have 5 placement types for our assistance dogs. We do hearing dogs, seizure response dogs, physical mobility dogs, service dogs for children with autism. And then we are brand new, just starting to do medical alert detection dogs. And then we also place facility dogs right into schools and communities. So they might be in a classroom, they might be in a local hospital, children's advocacy centers, courtrooms, places like that where they can help more than one individual, but a whole community together. So,
Wow. Wow. So you mentioned facility
yeah.
dog, I think was the term you used. What does that mean?
So it is a dog that is more of a therapy dog. We have seen great response and heard great testimonials from our dogs that are placed in these environments. We have a dog at Helen DeVos Children's Hospital in Grand Rapids, and we hear often that it relaxes and really changes the atmosphere for the child who maybe is in for a different procedure. So they can lay right on the hospital bed with the child in more of the comfort side. We've also heard things from time to time with different doctors' offices. The doctor can pretend to give the dog a shot, and then that might be a distraction enough that the child sees the dog getting a shot, and then they can get the shot without it being an issue. Or just even having the
Oh,
dog
wow.
there that they pet and interact with is enough of a distraction that the child maybe doesn't feel or isn't as nervous or scared of getting a shot or something like that. So it has a lot of really unique benefits to having a dog in a community.
Yeah, that's really cool. I'd not heard of that. Wow.
Yeah, it's
So,
fun.
so this the medical alert is amazing to me. So explain that.
Yeah, so we are going to start accepting clients for medical or for type 1 diabetes and then also for POTS. It's so with type 1 diabetes, the individual would have a change in their blood sugar, and our dog would be able to alert to a scent that your body releases from a chemical in advance of your blood sugar dropping. So that way, the individual would be able to be alerted to know that their blood sugar was going to drop, eat or drink whatever it is that they might need to, and or get to a place where maybe they can sit down safely. So if their blood sugar does change, they're in a safe position. Same thing with
That's
POTS.
crazy. Wow.
So, yeah, POTS does blood pressure, which is even more unique. And so the fact that we're going to be able to train our dogs on what these different scents are that are individually based on you as a person, the scent of my blood sugar changing would be different than the scent of your blood sugar changing. And so we're going to train our dogs to be able to alert for that for their specific individual that they go to. So.
Wow, that's amazing. And do you at your organization train the dogs, or you're getting them already trained?
So we train them all at Paws. Our location here in Wayland is our national headquarters. So every dog starts their career path through our location. And then all of the training for our clients, and we have over 330 clients, individual and handler teams within the community. And then probably at about another 85 in facilities. So all 400 of those dogs have been trained within our facility right here in Wayland.
Oh, wow. And you said national headquarters. Tell me about that.
Yeah, so we place dogs in, right now we have dogs in over 30 states. We're pretty much east of the Mississippi, but then we do have a larger population in Arizona as well. We try and follow the Michiganders. In the winter season, they go to Florida and Arizona. So we have a larger contingency down in those two states as well. But yep, we have dogs and client handlers in over 30 different states within the US.
Wow. Wow. So, i- i- how is, or two questions. How would someone get connected with you? And how do you know, or what is the application process for someone that
Yeah.
wants a dog?
That's a great question. We have a kind of a unique process, and our applications are open once a year, typically January through March. And part of that process is unique vetting. So there's an initial application process to make sure that they meet all the requirements for our placements. And then the secondary part is following up with more of the medical side of things and working with their doctors and getting all the correct paperwork submitted. And then what we do is our team will vet each client, work with them individually. And as we accept them, we're talking with them about what's their day-to-day life look like. Are they outdoor people? Do they want a dog that could go hiking with them? Do they want a dog that could go run marathons with them? Are they somebody who has children, grandchildren? Do they go to work? What kind of work environment are they? And a lot of that is us getting feedback information so that we can then pick the correct dog for them. So we custom train every single dog for each individual based on their lifestyle. That is one of the things that makes us really unique. We don't just train them to do certain tasks. We really want to pick a dog that is going to be responsive to them. So if we know that they're going to have grandkids around all the time, we want to make sure that we train our dogs to be able to have a little bit more interaction with children so they can get used to an environment where there's maybe more activity or kids running around and more sound and more noise than if you live by yourself and have a more quiet environment. We have had clients who want to run, so we've had to try and find a dog that would have enough energy to be able to do 5Ks and longer runs with them to make sure that they have their support system with them. That's what our dogs are there for, is to be that support. So we wanted to make sure that they had a dog that would keep up with the physical activity levels that they. So that's where it's unique in trying to make sure that we're doing the best job that we can with our clients.
So, are there certain breeds of dogs that work better in this type of therapy than others?
Yeah, you'll see a lot of retrievers, Goldens, and Labradors are fairly common breeds for service animals or assistance dogs. We have four different types of dogs that we do. So we do Golden Retrievers, Labrador Retrievers, Poodles, standard size Poodles, and then we do a small breed, which is called a Papillon, and they have large ears. They're very cute, but we also wanted to make sure we had a little breed. Our Papillons are more typically utilized for hearing dogs. They would make great medical alert dogs, but they're about 10 to 12 pounds. But we know that not everybody wants a 50 or 60-pound dog. So we wanted to make sure we had a smaller breed. And then we
Yeah.
do use the poodles for hypoallergenic dogs because there are people who have allergies but still need some of the support. or even if they don't have allergies, maybe they just want a dog that does not shed as much as a golden or a lab might. But those are the 4 breeds we have. We breed in-house so that we can make sure that we're trying to trace back their genetic history to be as physically healthy as possible, as well as we have the opportunity to breed for some temperament and make sure that they're really good and easy of dogs as we can.
Yeah, you answered my next question about breeding. So thank you about that. What is, if I fill out an application today, we go through the process, you coordinate with my doctor and everything, and we're good to go. From that time until the time I get my dog, typically how long is that?
Yeah, I would say it is about a 2-year process from start to finish. Once we've accepted you as a client and then we start looking, it's going to be about 4 to 10 months because, again, we won't start training a dog until we find the right dog for that person. And then the training time period is about 4 to 10 months. And that depends on how many tasks that they might be able to do, some of the difficulty level of some of the tasks. Some are easier to train, some are harder. We have over 40 different tasks that our dogs can do, from things like opening doors to using push plates on power doors. One of the more unique things that I think some of our dogs can do, which we don't train as often on anymore, is it's a task called move. And so they can pull a manual wheelchair. So the client could say left or right, and the dog would actually pull the wheelchair to the left or to the right and be able to
Oh,
navigate.
wow.
We have a dog in training right now who can take clothes out of the laundry machine, out of the dryer, and drag the laundry basket to a spot where his future client will be able to fold the laundry, put it back in the laundry basket, and then he'll be able to pull the laundry basket to the client's bedroom where it goes.
I think I need that. Yeah.
I do too. I
Um,
do too.
so I'm approved. We're 2 years approximately before I get my dog. How much does it cost for me to have that dog?
Yeah, there currently is an application fee of $50, and that is the only cost to our client. We do
No way.
transfer ownership of the dog, so the dog costs after that become yours as a client. So vet costs and food costs, but the actual cost of the dog to the client, there is zero cost. It costs us
Wow.
about $60,000 to train each one of these dogs to go to a client.
Six, 60,000.
Correct. 60,000.
Oh my word. Oh my word. Wow. So if it costs $60,000 per dog, is your funding coming from?
So we are primarily charitably funded. The bulk of our funding for the assistance dogs is from individuals and other community members. For dogs that go to facilities, there is a cost to the facility for the dog, and that's a little bit more of the training and ownership cost. But we do not pass that cost on to our individual client.
Wow. That's amazing. And how many dogs are going on right now or training right now?
Yeah, so our goal by 2030 is to place 100 assistance dogs a year and 50 facility dogs. We
Oh,
just intentionally scaled down a little bit because we were renovating our facility. And so we're working on the scale back up process now that we're in renovated spaces and we have more. We intentionally shut down one building at a time out of our 3 buildings so that we could renovate each space. So we had scaled down a little bit and now we're scaling back up so we can get to about 150 dogs that we place into the community in the next 2 or 3 years.
wow. 150 times 60,000.
Yes, we're a
That's
large
crazy. That's a lot of
organization.
money.
It is.
Yeah.
It definitely
Wow.
is. And we're doing it
Wow.
mostly at individuals. We don't get any federal funding, which I think in a lot of situations is good because you can adjust to the economy and what's going on in the world out there. But the fact that our community, in good chunk of our funding comes from community members right here in West Michigan, have really stepped up to support the work that we're doing. So,
Oh, wow. Wow. So just, I don't know why I just thought of this question, but I guess it'd be fun to think of. Have any of your placements been outside of the United States?
we do have one partner that we place dogs with. They they do electronic detection dogs. And then we have some dogs who are just really wired high energy. And
Hmm.
so they don't always suit well for some of our client needs or some of our facility needs. So we work with a partner organization, and he has placed some of our dogs around the world who are helping with electronic detection. And so they can often sniff out things like SD cards, photos, computer, cell phone parts, things like that, and are used in sometimes in some of the sex trafficking cases or other high crime, white collar crime.
Yeah. Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. If someone wanted to visit your facility, do you allow that?
Absolutely. We, especially because we have newly renovated, we always want to show people around. We have a variety of events that are often take place there, but we also do tours. So if anybody wants, you can go on and go onto our website, which is pawswithacause.org, and request a tour. Often when you come for a tour, it just depends, but most often we have puppies that you can see right in our room,
Mhm.
in our puppy rooms. And then you can also usually see some of the actual dog training going on when we're in the training space. So there's a lot of opportunity to see exactly how we do our work and what it looks like.
Yeah. Wow. You may have told me this and I missed it earlier. When did Pause start?
Yeah, so it started in 1979. So we're almost 50 years old. We're gearing up for that in probably another 2 or 3 years. We'll start celebrating. But we started, our founder was a paper delivery person, which is hard to believe
Mhm.
because I don't know if there are still paper delivery people. It's like a full-time job anymore. But
Yeah.
he had a client who wanted a dog to they had a dog and they wanted to see if he could train their dog to help them alert for some hearing noises. He had dogs as the founder and had trained them, but then this client was him and his wife were deaf or hard of hearing, and they were going to have a baby soon, so they wanted to see if he could help train their dog to help them alert so that they knew when their baby was crying. And
Oh, wow.
from there, we started and have just continued to grow since then.
No. How many people are employed at Pause? And then I'm sure you have many volunteers.
Yes. So we have about 70 employees. We run the gamut from a full-time vet. We have a full-time vet on staff who is responsible for the care of all of our dogs when they're puppies to all of our dogs who live on campus. Additionally, we have a handful of other licensed vet techs to somebody who coordinates all of the breeding to a large canine care staff that takes care of all of the dogs that live on campus. And then full-time professional trainers who actually train our dogs to go out and do the work for the individual clients that they're going to, admin staff as well. And then we have lots of volunteer opportunities. All of our puppies currently, or a good majority of our puppies, are raised by volunteers. And so that's about 150 puppies a year that we are being utilizing volunteers to raise. And then all of our breeding dogs are hosted by volunteers as well. So we're probably at 200 volunteers ish a year that are in the 24 hours, 7 days a week commitment. But then there's also one-time volunteer opportunities that you could come with your corporate company, a group, Boy Scout troop, Girl Scout troop, as well as just regular one individual person volunteer jobs where you could come and walk dogs around our campus for an hour every day, once a week. Lots of
Well,
different kinds of
well,
opportunities. So if you are all in and you
yeah.
want to take a dog home for a year, you could definitely raise a puppy, or you could just come in every now and then, whatever suits your schedule.
So if I take a dog home for a year,
Yeah.
then I bring it back several times a week or whatever, or the trainer comes to us, or how is the dog trained while I have it?
Yeah. All of our puppies are raised by volunteers, and so our training goes in cycles. So our puppy raisers have dogs from about 8 weeks to about 15 to 18 months. And during that time period, they're working on basic obedience, sit, down, stay, some basic commands, basic cues. And they have to go to 2 times a month puppy class where you'll be in a group setting and have some training with some of our staff trainers and some volunteer trainers. pretty minimal commitment as far as that goes from the training and expectations standpoint. After that, you would turn them in and then they'll spend 6 months in one of our partner prisons. So we have 6 or 7 prison partner programs right now where they'll go in and they'll work with 2 inmate handlers for 6 months. It's 2 inmate handlers per dog, and they basically live, breathe, eat, sleep with those same 2 inmates, and they work on more advanced obedience. And then after that, they would come back to our facility and we would decide what career path they have. Our career paths could be breeding. They could be a breeding dog to go on and hopefully help create our future service dogs. They could go on to be a facility dog, or they could go on and be an assistance dog where they're placed with the one individual. But we decide that once they're a little bit more mature and we can see their evolution of training, a more adult full health report once their bodies are physically done developing, and then the ability to train and actually retain the information that they're learning from our training staff can sometimes determine where they go later on.
What a process. So I did not know that you had an inmate program. That's very interesting. Before we continue, I'd like to give a big shout out to our amazing sponsors for making this podcast possible. Lighthouse Title, Independent Bank, Josh DeVries Mortgage Lender, Cooper Insurance, Jose Morales, in partnership with Fremont Mutual Insurance. Thank you for your support. Check out their info in the description below. Let's dive back in. So you're working with the prison in Ionia then, or where is the inmates? Where are the inmates?
Yeah, we have a variety. So we have 2 in Muskegon, a couple in the middle of the state, and then a couple on the east side of the state.
Okay.
I don't know all of the prison names off the top of my head, but we have found that it's a really good win. It's great for our dogs because there's a really consistent schedule to training. The inmates, it's a great job opportunity for them within the corrections department, but then it also changes the mood and the environment within the prison itself for both the inmates who are part of the program because they have to be on their best behavior to be accepted into the dog handling program. But it's also just, I think dogs in general are a game changer as far as just natural endorphins and how you feel. So it definitely has that secondary component for everybody who gets to see the dogs or experience that. But we have found that it's
Yeah.
been really good for our dogs because they get a lot of really consistent training that sometimes our puppy raisers have full-time jobs like myself, and they're not always able to work with them maybe as much as they would like to, and that's okay. Part of puppy raising is teaching our puppies how to live in a household, and how to just be a part of a family. So that's part of the experience. But then when they go into our prison program, they really get to focus on some more of the advanced training aspects.
Yeah. Wow. That's very cool. So if I want to be a puppy trainer, or if I am looking to I'm not sure what the word, to adopt a dog, if you will, for my specific therapy, do you do an on-site visit to make sure the dog is going to a good place?
Yeah, so all of our puppy raisers, there's an application that they have to fill out. And then we do a home visit that can be virtual, pending where they live, because we do have puppy raisers in Chicago as well as the southeast side of the state. We have a couple puppy raisers in Arizona as well. So they would get a home visit, whether it's virtual or in person, from our team. And then for the second part, you were asking about adoption. Is that correct? If you wanted to actually
Yes.
adopt
Yes.
a dog. We
Hmm.
have a handful of dogs that get adopted every now and then. Our goal is to have 90% of our dogs placed within one of our working careers, so breeding, facility, or an assistance dog. And we're getting pretty close to that. So it doesn't happen very often. But when we do, we definitely have a team, connects with the potential puppy raiser. There's a meet and greet just ahead of that or the potential adopted puppy, to make sure that there's a, a good connection and a good bond right off the bat to make sure that it'll be successful. But yeah, when we
Sure.
do adoptions, it doesn't happen very often, but we definitely want to make sure that
Hmm.
the dog is going somewhere and they feel like they're going to get along, both for the human and the dog. So.
Yeah. Yeah. I would be afraid to take a puppy home and puppy train it because we wouldn't want to give it back.
Yes, we hear that a lot. I am 45 days away from turning my first puppy in that I've been raising. So I'm going to
Mm,
find out exactly how hard it is.
yeah.
And I think it is going to definitely be a tough day. But I continue to remind myself that somebody else needs this dog more than I do, whether it's a school and everybody in the school will benefit to an individual client. So everything I can do right now is trying to pour in all the love that I have for him so that he knows that he's going to go on and do great things. But
So
I'm
that's,
worried that it's going to be a sad day for me.
I'm sure it will be, but that was great perspective there that you just shared. What kind of puppy are you raising?
I have one of our golden retrievers, and his name is Duncan. He's a very sweet boy. I picked him up. I took him home 2 days after he turned in. So he was 8 weeks old, and I will turn him in at the beginning of April. And I bring him to work with me every day. He hangs out with other dogs in our office and he just has a blast. It's
Well,
been really fun to raise him, even through some of the puppy things of house training and teaching him how to walk on a leash. And some days he's better at it, and some days he's just not as good at it, but it's still a lot
yeah,
of fun.
I'm sure. Yeah, sure. One of the things that I run into on a fairly regular basis in the real estate world, especially with homeowners association, condominium associations, that sort of thing, is they will only allow quote unquote therapy dog. And then if that is allowed, then a certain size of dog. And there seems to be, I'll call it a black market of what seems to be like, we'll call them fake certificates so that somebody have their dog in a
Yeah.
place like that. Do you hear of that? Do you see that?
Um, yes and no. I mean, there's some unique things. So our assistance dogs and our dogs in training and our puppies, at least in the state of Michigan, our puppies and our dogs in training are covered by the American Disability Act. Our full-on assistance dogs are covered by that, which is the federal law that protects that assistance dogs are allowed to go anywhere legally with their clients. So that that part's covered. The unique thing about assistance dogs in the law is that there's no actual paperwork that is required to be an assistance dog. Um,
Oh,
Most assistance dogs you'll see will be out in some sort of a cape or a harness that says service dog or working dog. But even that's not legally required. It's not mandated that they wear that. So the challenge comes in that you can actually have a dog with no pay and no certification, and you're not allowed to ask for paperwork or anything
mm.
to demonstrate that it's an assistance dog. We provide
Oh, no
Paws with a
kidding.
Cause, we provide our clients with a digital ID card with the picture of their dog saying that it has been certified by us. But that's not a legal man. So it does present some challenges for people in knowing what's actually a service dog and what's not. So it's a
Yeah,
unique
yeah,
thing
interesting.
about the dog world right now.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Wow. So, what is Paw's greatest need right now?
So I'm in fundraising. So if I would be amiss to not say money. And I think the reality is we need a variety of all the things because yes, money does help us get certain things, but we need puppy raisers. We need volunteers. We need the general awareness of the community of the work that we're doing. So a little bit of time, talent, and treasure would help us in all the ways for all the things that we're doing.
Yeah, for sure. So, if I wanted to learn more about Paws, I'm sure you're on all the socials and that sort of thing. Would be a place to go, or a YouTube channel, or where can I find out more?
Yeah, so we are for sure on all the socials, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok. We have a YouTube channel. If you go to our YouTube channel, you can find we just did a puppy bowl to promote that we had, a fairly large need for puppy raisers right now. You can go to our website, pawswithacause.org. We're out and about in the community as best as we can be. So we actually just did a partnership with Community Action House at their retail thrift store.
Mm,
where we took some
yeah.
dogs in treating in there and walked around downtown Holland in the middle of December. We went there because they had the heated sidewalks. So that was
Yeah,
a
yeah,
nice,
for sure.
a nice buncher in the cold. But
Yeah.
yeah, we try and be out in the community as much as we can.
You said you're in Wayland. What's an address and a phone number that someone could reach you?
Yes, 4646 Division Avenue in Wayland. And then our phone number is 616-877-7297.
Okay. And then Facebook, Instagram is Paws with a Cause. Just that simple.
Correct. Easy peasy with that one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. I actually appreciate the time today and learning more about Paws with a Cause. I'm tempted to come see you and get a tour, but I'm afraid I might not want to leave. So that's that.
Yeah. You
But
might want to take a
I
puppy
do
home
need,
if you do.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. I know it. But yeah, so well, I appreciate all the information and being on the Keys to the Community podcast. And I hope we see each other again real soon.
Sounds good. Thanks for having me. And we hope you come out
Yeah.
and take a puppy home with you.
All right. All right, Ashley. Thank you. Thanks for tuning in to Keys to the Community. Make sure you subscribe and stay connected to what's happening across West Michigan. And if real estate is on your mind, reach out. I'd love to help.